नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter number 3, and verses 5, 6, and 7. This is a combination of three verses we are going to discuss today. The canto is the creation of the fourth order, and the topic is the beautiful topic of talks between Lord Shiva and Mother Sati. तदुपसृत्य नाभासी खे चरणं प्रजल्पतं सति तक्ष्याणि देवी पितृयज्ञ महोत्सवम् व्रजन्ति हि सर्वतो दिग्भय उपदेवा व्रत स्त्रियः विमानयानः से प्रेस्था निष्ककण्ठी सुवाससः दृष्ट्वा स्वनिलय भासये लक्ष्यर्मृत्युकण्डलैः पतिं भूता पतिं देवम् असुकद अभयद भासता तदुपसृत्य नाभासी खे चरणं प्रजल्पतं सति दक्ष्याणि देवी पितृयज्ञ महोत्सवम् व्रजन्ति हि सर्वतो दिग्भय उपदेवा व्रत स्त्रियः विमानयानः से प्रेस्था निष्ककण्ठिः सुवाससः दृष्ट्वा स निरय भासये लक्ष्यर्दृष्टि कुण्डलैः पतिं भूता पतिं देवम् औसकयद् अभय भासत. Synonyms. Tat. Then, upasrutya, hearing, navasi, in the sky, khe charanam, of those who were flying in the air, the Gandharvas, prajalpatam, the conversation, sati, sati, dakshani, the daughter of Daksha, Devi, the wife of Shiva, Pitru Yagya Mahautsavam, the great festival of sacrifice performed by her father, Brajantihi, were going, Sarvataha, from all, Digbhayaha, directions, Upadeva Vratastriyaha, the beautiful wives of the demigods. Vimana Yanaha, flying in the airplanes. Sapresthaha, along with their husbands. Niska Kantihi, having nice necklace with lockets. Suvasaha, dressed in fine clothing. Drustva, seeing. Swanilaya Avhashe, near her residence. Lola Akshihi, having beautiful glittering eyes. Mrishta Kundalehi, nice earrings. Patim, her husband. Bhutapatim, the master of the Bhutas. Devam, the demigod. Osukyat, from great anxiety. Abhaya Bhashata, she spoke. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The chaste lady Sati, the daughter of Daksha, had the heavenly denizens flying in the sky, conversing about the great sacrifice being performed by her father. When she saw that from all directions the beautiful wives of the heavenly denizens, their eyes very beautifully glittering, were near her residence and were going to the sacrifice, dressed in fine clothing and ornamented with earrings and necklaces with lockets, she approached her husband, the master of the Bhutas, in great anxiety and spoke as follows. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It appears that the residence of Lord Shiva was not on this planet but somewhere in outer space. Otherwise, how could Sati have seen the airplanes coming from different directions towards this planet and heard the passengers talking about great sacrifice being performed by Daksha? Sati is described here as Dakshani because she was the daughter of Daksha. The mention of Upadeva Brata refers to inferior demigods like the Gandharvas, Kinnaras, and Uragas, who were not exact demigods, but between the demigods and the human beings. They were also coming in planes. The word Swanilaya Bhashaye indicates that they were passing right near her residential quarters. The dress and bodily features of the wives of the heavenly denizens are very nicely described here. Their eyes moved, their earrings and other ornaments glittered and glared, their dresses were the nicest possible, and all of them had special lockets on their necklaces. Each woman was accompanied by her husband, thus they looked so beautiful that Sati, Dakshani, was impelled to dress similarly and go to the sacrifice with her husband. That is the natural inclination of a woman. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Sri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Bhaktan Sahagana Lalita Savishakan Vitam Cha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्य वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवशादि गौर भक्तवृंद नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining today for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. These days we are discussing about the talks between Lord Shiva and Mother Sati. So this is a very beautiful topic, and Srila Prabhupada has very beautifully explained here about one way the most renunciate Lord Shiva and the other side, other side, Mother Sati, who basically represents the entire material world, the conversation between them, and nice past tense is described, and slowly it is going to unfold everything as we go through this chapter. My knowledge on this beautiful subject matter is very limited, but with all of your blessings and guidance from Guru and Goranga, would like to glorify this subject matter for my own purification. So here we see that there is a nice description of chapter is going on. That here Prabhupada described Mother Sati as Dakshani. Dakshani means he is the daughter of Daksha. Daksha is the Prajapati. Basically, Daksha was his task was to extend the creation of the entire universe. So he was given the task. So he was the Prajapati. So Daksha's one of the Mother Sati was one of the daughter of Daksha Prajapati. So that's why he's called Dakshani. And Sati is basically she was married to Lord Shiva. So that's why we have Mother Sati here is addressed in two ways. One is Dakshani and other is Sati. So Sati, when here it is a detailed description is going on here that Mother Sati basically she is coming out of her house and she is saying there are a lot of denizens, heavily denizens, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, and or the Uragas and Vidyadhars. They are kind of like nicely decorated, and the beautiful wives are also very beautifully decorated, and they are chit chatting and talking with their husband, and they're all invited to her father's house. Her father is having a yagya, a fire sacrifice, and in the yagya everybody are invited. So Sati is very happy, like the girls, like they're always attached to their father, like even if they're married also, like like mother's house or father's house, they are always they have a loving inclination towards towards them. So here Mother Sati, like she is seeing that everybody are going to her father's house, and she's seeing that everybody is so excited. So they are so nicely getting like dressed and very beautifully. In this purport here is described how these beautiful ladies are wearing nice necklaces, anklets are there, their cloth is glittering, eyes are like very glad, they're excited, and they're going with their husband. Sometimes like we see in the mundane world also, we see if somebody's in like party is there and we are invited over there, we see the similar kind of things we see. We see the similar things we see. So here sometimes we can ask a doubt comes in our mind that why these elaborate descriptions are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are also seeing the same thing, and what are we sometimes we justify ourselves, yes, that also happens in material world, and here also it is described like that. But here we see that Bhagavatam is Amlana Puran, like everything here is pure, and whatever is described here is for our own benefit. So here we need to understand that these elaborate descriptions are mentioned here, and that is everything for a purpose. Bhagavad, everything for a purpose. There is a reason behind it. So basically, how we should go beyond this mundane platform to this transcendental world. So again, what we are seeing, reading this again and again, it's something like our Acharya says that basically this is you can think that we can use a thorn to remove another thorn. Sometimes when you are going in a outside in the backyard, sometimes a thorn, it get into our leg, into our feet. So it gives some kind of pain to us. So that times what we do, generally we take a needle and we just like clean it a little bit and take the thorn out. So basically one thorn is used to take another thorn out. So that's how basically any thorn is coming out of our body. Second example, we can take, like where that, like Bhima was given poisonous laddu. And Duryodhan was very much envious about Bhima. So what he did, so he fed Bhima poison laddu so that Bhima becomes senseless. Once Bhima becomes senseless, he threw Bhima in the water. So when Bhima was in the water, Bhima basically drowned because he was senseless and he was drowned. When he was drowned, he was basically saved by the snakes. When the snakes basically he say saved them, with the snake poison, this Bhima's poison in the body got neutralized. After that, Bhima becomes more and more powerful. So these materialistic desire, whatever in our mind, they're kind of poison. This materialistic desire basically they comes from lost anger and greed. So when we have lost is these are basically three gateway to hell. Our Acharya said in Bhagavad Gita also it is mentioned that lost anger and greed are basically little they're kind of poison in our mind. So when the and sometimes when we keep these are kind of different kind of anarthas. Like we have arthas and we have anarthas. We keep we keep our money in the bank so that it multiplies. But these anarthas, they multiply really fast. Sometimes in the lost will be there. In the lost, you want to have one desire. The one desire slowly gets multiplied to 10 desire. Then 10 desire gets multiplied to 100 desire, 100 to 1,000. Like that, like our desire and multiplies. Because of lost, our desire multiplies. Today we will want a small house. After some time, our need will increase and we see some other house and we want to have a bigger house, then we take more loans from bank. So from that, sometimes we are not able to like fulfill it. Then our anger increases. So while fulfilling like one desire, we get in like into a trap of fulfilling all our desires. So but with the Srimad Bhagavatam study, we can see that how this lost anger and greed in our mind it is there, how it gets increased, and slowly this metal desire, how basically it conquers in all our consciousness. The later also in Ajamila pastime we see. Ajamila pastime also we see there's so much description is there. Like Ajamila was a small innocent Brahmin boy. He was he saw some Sudra and Sudrani interaction, and that desire came in his mind. With this desire came his mind. There is a detailed discussion is over there, like how Ajamila got inclined towards say unchaste woman. Then he got married, and he was a Brahmin. And instead of doing his Brahminical duty, what he did, he threw out his parents from his home, and he did all kind of illicit work. And after slowly, but by Krishna's mercy, by somehow mercy, because of the pious credit, he has a small boy, later part his life. He was very attached to the boy, and he gave the boy's name as Ajamil. So when he was leaving his body, he gave his son's name as Narayan. So leaving his body, since he called out Narayan, so Vishnu Duttas came. But as Ajamala was very unpious and he did lot of wrong activities, sinful activity, Yamadutas also came to take him. But there was a discussion between Yamaduta and Vishnudutta, and finally Yamadutas left and Ajamala got a second chance and he went to Haridwar and he did all these pious activities. Then finally, he was liberated. So all these discussions while describing, Srila Prabhupada always used to say that my disciples are so intelligent that and they're reading Bhagavatam. So because of that, they don't have to go the ordeal what Ajamila has gone through. They don't have to experience the lifeline what Ajamila has gone through. So if they read Bhagavatam, they don't have to experience this material world. What they can do, though they are in this material platform, they can directly go to the end result. They can directly go and get the Lord's association, they can directly go back to Godhead if they read Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam will transfer our heart if we read constantly Srimad Bhagavatam, and we get the association of the nice saintly souls through reading and through Guru and Gauranga's mercy. If we read and our heart is transformed, then all these anarthas we have in our mind, just slowly they will get disappear, and we will get our destination, which is lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So Prabhupada says the best way to circumvent all the nasty situations in the world is not to go through them again and again and get kicks from them and learn. Rather, you study Srimad Bhagavatam or read the Bhagavad Gita and learn how to avoid them and directly come to the right conclusion that Krishna is the supreme master, and I am basically eternal servant of Krishna. And if Krishna is pleased, and if my life is centralized with Krishna, or my life is Krishnaized, then definitely I'm going to get Krishna. So these descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam is there. Sometimes it fascinates our mind, but we need to understand that material world basically is temporary. It is dukhalaya aswasatum. Everything is temporary here. Today we are here. Tomorrow we won't be there. Like today we have this beautiful palace and beautiful house, beautiful car is there. Tomorrow it won't be there. But what will stay with us is basically the devotional service. So devotional service basically we in our bank balance, instead of this lost anger and greed, we should store the devotional service, because devotional service, it amplifies, it never get reduced, it stays with us life after life, birth after birth. We see from the Gajendra pastime, Gajendra was a king in some like previous life, but in the life when Gajendra was there, Gajendra basically he was an elephant and he was enjoying with the sea elephants. But when the crocodile attacked and he basically helpless and he's seeing that none of his sea elephants are able to assist him, and his energy also is not assist him. That time what happened? Somehow he could realize, he could remember the prayer which he used to offer earlier. He offered that prayer, and Lord Vishnu basically he was he was miles away, and he ran as Gajendra called him, and he was so merciful. He come and he saved Gajendra. So, and our Acharya also sometimes also says that this material world basically it is just like like chewing the chewing gums. Like chewing gum initially it is very tasty, like we like it for some time. So Prahlad Maharaj says that punar charbita charbanam, basically chewing the chewed again and again. So initially when somebody is chewing a chewing gum, it's very tasty, it's little sweeter taste is come, but after some time the taste is not there, but you keep on chewing it. So material world is just like that. Initially everything looks very nice, very fascinating, but as it progresses it becomes same thing. Like we get a new car. So when we get a new car, we are very happier about it. It's not like that we should not go for material possessions. We should definitely have it because we need them, but what is the motive behind it, and how to utilize that properly, how to utilize that in Krishna service, how to utilize it nicely. Instead of like utilizing it, we become like so much engrossed in that we don't see anything else, we see only that material position. So that is what actually Prabhupada says, that utilize everything in Krishna service. Like once Prabhupada used to go in an airplane, so then some reporter asked him that why Swamiji, how are you coming in an airplane, you were a sannyasi. Then Prabhupada told, time is very less, I have to save you, that's why I came in airplane. Moral behind is Prabhupada used to utilize everything in Krishna service. It's kind of a Chukta Vairagya concept. Everything is there, but he was not attached to it. He was basically utilizing everything in Krishna service. Sometimes we get a new car, right? The one I was talking about, and when you get a new car, you get insurance and you nicely use the car, you drive the car, and you get very scared that like somebody accident might happen, little bit scratch is there, we get worried. And then when we get to the gas station, you try to fill the high amount of higher fluid, so higher gas, so that we get very much attached. But as the day progresses and we see something else and the life goes on, we do just try to go to this our workplace. So slowly the car becomes in a general position. So one day today the car which was very dear to us, after 10 days or 15 days, it becomes just another car for us. So that is how basically these material possessions are there. So beginning stage material life is enjoying, but it is not like that that like it will be enjoyment all the time. But that doesn't mean that we won't have any goal and we won't have anything. But goal should not be for our life that we are going to enjoy it. Instead, how we are going to utilize our life in Krishna's service, that should be our goal. What we were yesterday and how we can navigate our life so that it can be a better tomorrow, that should be our goal. So there are two types of people are there, or we can say that path is there. One is the Pravruti mark and another is the Nivruti mark. In the Pravruti mark, basically what happens that is a materialistic way you can say that how to make our life happier. And the Nivruti mark is basically renounced path, how to go back to Godhead. That basically is the Nivruti mark. So some of the disciples, they are some of the devotees, they stay in the Pravruti mark, and some of the devotees they stay in the Nivruti mark. We can also take an example of an iron rod. So iron rod, Prabhupada always quotes this example of iron rod in all his lectures. Prabhupada says that if an iron rod is there, if you put the iron rod in the fire, the iron rod becomes very hot. It becomes molten kind of thing. It looks like a gold, and sometimes it looks like a red sun, or sometimes it looks very oranges fiery kind of thing. So that iron rod, when a blacksmith is taking with a tongue and putting in somewhere else in a paper or somewhere, it gets burnt. So similarly, Prabhupada says that Krishna is very powerful. Krishna is, he has all opulences. He has all opulence. He is basically six opulence. Krishna has opulence. So when a devotee takes association of Krishna, he gets associated with Krishna with his Prabhupada's books or teachings or Guru and Gauranga. What happens? He gets the qualities of Krishna. So he gets all these qualities of Krishna in such a way that in this material world, there are so many other qualities are there. So this devotee or the person who is basically Krishna is the material quality, basically he doesn't touches them. So the analogy here we can say that initially the iron rod is just a distinct material object, but when it placed in fire, it gradually transforms. Here the fire represents the spiritual energy of Krishna's consciousness. As the iron rod is heated, it becomes warm, then red hot, and eventually it is no longer just an iron rod, but rather basically it becomes a manifestation of fire itself. Similarly, when we engage in Krishna consciousness, even the material things like this body, mind, and soul become spiritualized and connect to Supreme Lord. So in Bhagavad Gita also there is a nice verse is there in chapter 5. It says that Sangam Tukta Karati Yoho Lipyotena sa papena Padma Patra Imabhasha. So we see often we see that childhood days, we see that I get the example of lotus leaf example, that you stay there but you are not getting attached. So if you see a lotus leaf is there, like if lotus leaf basically it plays in the mud. In the mud when it plays, right, it is not contaminated by the mud. And if you put little water on the top of the lotus leaf, the leaf has some kind of waxy tendency. If you put little bit water in that, the water will basically fall down. It won't stay there. So Prabhupada always says this example of lotus leaf, that our disciples should be like lotus leaf. Even if we go to preach in certain area where there are so many anarthas are going on, so many things are happening. Basically, those things, his disciples are so strong by reading the Srila Prabhupada books that nothing can touch them. So in the Bauri state when Prabhupada was preaching, we see that so many wrong activities is going on. Prabhupada senses are so strong. His disciple senses are so strong. They could basically distribute Krishna's books, and they could distribute Krishna's mercy in the entire world. So when we are not controlled, our eyes basically look for beautiful things, and ears basically they want to hear beautiful, they're beautiful and mundane music, and tongue basically it wants to eat unoffered food. But when our everything basically is controlled, then everything basically looks like they are not required for us. So there is a fine line between the need and the greed. Like our need could be small, but when we're very greedy, basically what happens, we try to acquire more and more things, and then we go to the danger line. So the rats will be there in the farm area, right? In the farm area, when the farmer basically is taking out some some stuff, so some crops. So there are some crops will be on the floor, some rice and paddies will be on the floor. For a rat, eating that much is enough. But rat basically it got trapped by the mouse trap or rat trap, because rat wants that extra amount of sweet is there or biscuit or cookie is there in the rat trap. So instead of eating these crops and paddies which is outside, which is sufficient for the rat, rat goes inside basically to eat those extra sweet things. A rat becomes greedy. So that's how the rat basically got caught. So for in our case also in this material world, we definitely need certain things to survive. So but we need to understand the fine line between the need and the greed. We should not get caught by the greed. So here, going back to the Shiva and Sati's pastime, we see an amazing contrast here. Shiva basically, Lord Shiva, he is basically Vaishnavanam Jathasambhu. He's the topmost Vaishnava. He's always in the renounced mood. He's only like goal is how he's meditating on Supreme Personality Krishna's lotus feet. Here, Sati basically he wants to rejoice in the material world, and Shiva basically he is reluctant in the material life. So one person wants to rejoice, and other person, like he is basically reluctant in material life. Sati basically is the Mother Durga's potency, which personified of the material energy. She provides all the material benefits or all the material amenities. Like the Durga Puja is going on, everybody will be worshipping Mother Durga. They will be praying Jasodehi, Dhanadehi, Rupam Dehi, Gunam Dehi, everything, give. So basically, she gives everything to this material world. To this Durga, basically, he gives everything. That's why she is the protector of the Durga. That's why she is called Durga. But Shiva does not need anything. So the contrast here is here, a wife can provide everything to the entire world, but her husband, she herself is staying under a tree in the mountain, in the snow-cladded mountain area with her husband. Shiva does not need anything or does not rejoice anything material enjoyment. Rather, he is, like always, his eyes are always focused on Vasudev Darshanam. He has no other desires. So here we see that Sati is just opposite here in this discussion. But all these discussions, what we are seeing, what we are seeing here is basically a teaching for us. So Sati here is seeing in the sky that all are decorated with nice ornaments, costly garments, and coming. So and here she is coming and talking to her husband. So last line Prabhupada is saying that women are inclined to all these activities. So in some cases we see that women are attached, and some cases we see that women are detached. Sometimes in a family we see that women are easily chanting 16 rounds, and in some cases the husbands, it's very difficult for them to convince women to come to temple. So two types of mindset which we discussed earlier. So once the two disciples went to Prabhupada and asked that, Prabhupada says that women are, less intelligent. Some of them are saying. Prabhupada said, yes, it is there, but it is not there. But if you consider yourself as woman, then it is there. But as Prabhupada says, that we are in the body, we are not in body, we are basically spirit souls. As a spirit soul, we get Krishna's qualities. So there is no woman and man over here. This is basically the physical mindset is there. So here we see that with this example, we can and as the story progresses, we'll witness later what happens between Mother Sati and Lord Shiva. So it's a nice discussion and nice topic to go through it and meditate on. With this, we'd like to end today's discussion. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Pandaji. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma Mukha Patram Lingam. Ugravira Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham Nrsimham Vishnu Bhadram Nityam Namamyam. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki Jai, Maharaj ki Jai. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Samal Vaishnavas, Vanchakalpatarubhasya पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। वैष्णविंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रेमानंदे।
हरि 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 बोल। थैंक यू माता जी।
Thank you everybody. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna.